So good morning po, ma'am. Good morning, classmates. So our report is the activity 5, which is the types of chemical reactions. So our objective po is classify a reaction as combination, decomposition, single replacement, double replacement, or combustion. Number 2 is predict the products and balance the reaction. So procedure is classify the reactions and predict the products of the following reactions and balance equation. So first po is number 1. So ang gibigay po is mg plus asa to? Mg plus O2. So first po muna is i-identify natin yung activity series. So ang ang magnesium is stronger than oxygen. So mag-proceed ta. So mag-predict og product. So our product is Mg magnesium oxygen. So the reaction po is combination. So first muna po is i-check natin if tama ang ating product. So ang magnesium is 1, ang oxygen is 1. So ay 2. So di po balance ang oxygen. So maglagay tayo ng 2. So now hindi naman po balance ang magnesium. So naglagay po kami ng 2, kaya naging 2 Mg plus O2 yields 2 Mg oxygen. So ayun po, number 2 is CaCO3 yields. So sa activity series po is ang Ca is mas strong sa C. So mag-proceed ta sa reaction. So wala siya. So ang sa ano po is balance na siya. Kay ang sa first is Ca1, C1, oxygen 3. So ang sa product po is the Ca is 1, sa C is 1. So ang ano po is may 1 dito sa CaO, tapos may 2. So 1 plus 2 is equals to 3. So balance po siya. So sa number 3 is Li plus NaCO3. No reaction po ang amin dito, ma'am, kay based on based on activity series, mas strong ang Na kaysa sa La. So no reaction po siya. And then number 4 is K plus Mg HO2 yields to KOH2 plus Mg. So the reaction po is single replacement. So balance din po wala nang ibahin po, kay balance na yung equation. So
okay,
next po.
Before mag-next, let's check first one by one if tama yung answers dire. For number 1, the given is Mg plus oxygen. You will know, class, that this is a combination. This is correct. A combination reaction because you have here one element and then another element. So this is diatomic molecule, but this is considered one element here. That is your hint, ha? Okay, pag mag-quiz ko or mag-exam, this will be your hint na the reaction is going to be a combination reaction. You have one element combining with another element, and then you will only have one product, and that is a compound. So a combination of the two elements. Now, my instruction kapag di ba this one lang yung yung given magnesium plus oxygen. So definitely magko-combine yan silang dalawa, pero sabi ko wag nyong ikopya yung subscript. So kasi si oxygen may subscript dito. Pero pagdating kay magnesium oxide, remember we call this magnesium oxide, right? Magnesium oxide class, ano siya? Wala siyang subscript. Bakit wala siyang subscript? Kasi if we look at the charges, again, if we look at the charges, magnesium belongs to Group 2, so positive 2 siya, and oxygen belongs to negative. Negative 2 siya kasi group 6A siya na belong. So positive 2 plus negative 2 is equal to 0. No need for the crisscross. Again, no need para mag-crisscross. Kaya wag mong kopyahin yung subscript. Ito lang talaga ang chemical formula ni magnesium oxide. So tama din yung kanilang equation sa balance. Kasi hindi ito balance, dalawang oxygen dito na side. So lalagyan mo ngayon ng 2 dito para magkaroon ka ng dalawang oxygen. But since kasama niya si magnesium, magiging 2 din si magnesium. Kaya maglalagay ka din ng 2 dito sa kabila. So this is correct. So I hope yung iba din, tama din ang answer for number 1. Questions? Any question? Class, huwag niyong kalimutan ang naming natin ng chemicals and ang ating chemical formula. Paano gagawin yung chemical formula kasi included pa rin siya dito. So the quizzes and the exam, aside from the prediction of the products and the balancing of the equation, may also include the naming and syempre dito sa prediction appeal na si pag-formulate o chemical formula. So ayosan ninyo na ipanglabay inyong mga index cards and inyong periodic table. Now for number 2, kung sa number 1 class, you will be given with 2 or more elements and then you will have 1 product. Baliktad naman kasi sa number 2, ang binigay lang dyan ay calcium carbonate. And this will give you a hint that this is a decomposition reaction. Kasi sa decomposition reaction, isang compound lang yan and ang goal niya is to separate the components. So automatic kapag ganito ang given class, decomposition reaction. Okay, decomposition reaction siya. Now si calcium carbonate kapag I want to clarify, hindi na po mag-base sa activity series. Yeah, hindi na magbe-base sa activity series of metal kapag hindi single replacement. So, hindi na, like this one, combination reaction, hindi natin gagamitin si activity series of metal. Dito sa decomposition reaction, no need to use the activity series of metal also. We will just use that for single replacement. Dito wala na, pag nakakita kayo ng ang kanyang reactant ay isang compound lang, matik niyan siya decomposition reaction, ipaghiwalay natin ang kanyang component. Pero hindi mo siya ihiwalay na calcium plus carbonate because remember the carbonate is a polyatomic ion. It is not a compound. It is again a polyatomic ion na merong charge. Tandaan nyo, pag nagde-decompose ang isang compound, kailangan ang kanyang products will be neutral, walang charge na molecule. So it can be an element na walang charge or it can be a compound again na walang charge. So hindi pwede class ang answer na calcium at saka carbonate. Si calcium pwede pa, pero si carbonate is a polyatomic ion. This is not a neutral molecule. So kung magde-decompose siya, hanapan mo siya class ng either element or compound or compounds, 2 compounds that will satisfy the equation and neutral sila, wala silang charge. So kung titingnan natin si calcium carbonate, we can actually have the calcium oxide. So calcium and then isang oxygen dito. Isang oxygen lang. Bakit? Kasi calcium is positive 2, oxygen is negative 2. So positive 2 plus negative 2 is equal to 0. No need for a subscript. So isang calcium, isang oxygen, and ano ang naiwan? Yung carbon. And then 3 minus 1 is 2. So meron kang dalawang oxygen na naiwan. And as you can see, CO2 is carbon dioxide. It's a compound and it is neutral. So these are now the products when the calcium carbonate decomposes. So again, hanapan nyo siya ng either element or compound na walang charge. Hindi polyatomic ions. That's how you predict the product sa decomposition. And then ang next step na gagawin nyo is you try to balance the equation if it is not balanced. But for this case, this is already balanced because you have 1 calcium here, 1 calcium on the other side, 1 carbon also on both sides, and 3 oxygen. 3 here, and then this one, 2 plus 1 is still 3. So again, this is already a balanced equation. No need to do the balancing. And then actually, I will not require you to write either S or G here. No need not to write whether the products will be a solid, a liquid, or a gas. As long as tama inyong product na ma-predict and mabalance ninyo ang equation, okay na po ato. Okay?
Pero ma'am, okay lang po kahit nilagyan po.
Okay lang po kung gibutangan. For example, carbon dioxide. Mag-expect kasi tayo na carbon dioxide will always be a gas. Though naana siya solid na form, but in that equation, most likely it will be a gas. And calcium oxide will be solid because it's coming from a calcium carbonate na solid. Pero okay lang. Okay lang talaga if nilagyan nyo whether anong state of matter sila, solid, liquid, or gas. Okay? Pero again, hindi ko siya nire-require. Kaya mabuang natani sa kadaghan natog isipon. Okay, now how about number 3, lithium plus sodium carbonate. Let me just check kasi mali din kasi yung nalagay sa given, though I think there is someone who asked me kung tama baning chemical formula nga nasa given, and then I told her, marugbabae man to, na it should be Na2CO3. Okay? Anong Na2CO3 man na siya? Remember, sodium is positive 1 and carbonate is negative 2. Negative 2. So you need to do crisscross here, which means sodium should have 2 there. Kana lang, i-correct lang nako siya. But now for the reaction class, though dili man jud necessary nga butangan ninyo kay no reaction man ta, pero this is supposedly ha a single replacement reaction. How do you know na single replacement siya? Because you have there an element plus a compound. Yan yung makikita ninyo sa reactant, an element and a compound. So you will have there a hint, oh, this is a single replacement reaction. But the next thing that you need to do for single replacement reaction is to look for the activity series of metals. Again, activity series of metals. Kasi nakalista yan siya, 'di ba? From top to bottom, for example, lithium, potassium, and so on. And pagpababa class, nagiging less reactive yung ating mga metals or your ating mga elements. And hindi pwedeng palitan ng less reactive na metal yung more reactive na metal. Now, in this case, since lithium nang yung nasa pinakataas and sodium is there after the potassium, less reactive si, bakit no reaction ito? Wait lang. Lithium is nasa taas, right? Lithium, can you check your activity series?
Ma'am, among base daraman kay katong gihatag gud nimo nga activity series of metal na diagram.
Oo. Na si lithium sa pinakataas, right? Tama?
Potassium ang pinakataas ato, ma'am.
Pero si
Potassium, sodium, lithium.
potassium, sodium, lithium.
Yes po.
Okay. Let me check. Katong nasa lecture nga slide. Wait lang.
Yes po, ma'am.
Let me check the activity series of metal. I was actually thinking that lithium ang nasa pinakataas. Why? This is for water. So ang inyong gisunod katong nasa lecture nga slide, mo na nga no reaction. Tama?
Yes po, ma'am. Namang may mga sources, ma'am, na lithium
Lithium.
ang more reactive kaysa sodium. So, naglibog po nito ang sa gayahon.
Okay. So nalibog mo. Anyway, ato lang siyang i-correct karon para dili na mo maglibog. Let me check. I was not able to check the diagram in the lecture. Pero actually, tama tong uban na source na lithium should be first. Lithium, potassium, and then sodium. Though na pa yung mga elements diri in between. Pero lithium class ang pinaka-reactive na element. I-correct lang ninyo. Again, i-correct lang ninyo. So I will also consider your submission for this since ang finalo nyo is the reference na potassium ang pinakataas. Pero to correct this class, again, lithium is more reactive than sodium. So this is here, the reaction is single replacement and actually the reaction is possible. So mag-exchange tayo. Let us replace sodium here. This will become now LiCO3. Pero later mag-check tayo kung kailangan ba natin ng subscript or hindi. And sodium will be displaced. So sodium is not included in the diatomic molecule. So hindi yan siya kailangan ng 2 dyan. But for lithium carbonate, let us check whether we need class A subscript or hindi. Lithium belongs to group 1A in the periodic table. So this is +1. Carbonate is -2. So we need to do the crisscross. So thus, lithium should have a subscript na 2 here. Carbonate does not need 1. So Li2CO3. Now, if we look at our equation here, this is not balanced. So you have to balance this first. Lithium, sodium, and carbonate. So I told you, di ba, when you are going to balance an equation, if merong polyatomic ion, wag niyo siyang i-separate. Wag niyo i-separate si carbon and si oxygen kasi mahihirapan kayo in the balancing. Though mababalance niyo pa rin siya pero medyo matatagalan kayo. Isang entity na lang natin siya. Anyway, ang carbonate dito is still carbonate dito sa kabila. Hindi naman siya nagbago. So lithium is 1, sodium is 2, carbonate is 1. That is counted as 1. Wala siyang subscript. Malalaman natin na may subscript ang isang polyatomic ion kasi nakalagay siya inside an open and closed parenthesis. And then on the other side, you have 2 lithium, 1 sodium, and also 1 carbonate. So hindi ito balance. We can start with lithium. I can write 2 here para mabalance siya. And our problem na lang is the sodium. So I'll write 2 also here so that sodium becomes 2 on the product side. So this time, this is already a balanced equation. Okay? So again, I will just consider your submissions because depende. Tama ko yung mga sources nga si lithium nasa baba. Napoy sources na si lithium nasa taas, pero ang tinuod class, lithium should come first in the list of the activity series of metal. Okay? Kindly check that one. Hanap kayo ng reference ninyo na lithium ang nasa taas. Sa taas, yan yung tama na activity series of metal. Now, questions muna sa number 3 before tayo mag-proceed with number 4. Any clarification? Wala na. So, let us continue. We have here, unsa given ani sa inyong activity K plus magnesium hydroxide. Okay, again, we call it magnesium hydroxide. So as you can see, class, you have there an element plus a compound. So when you're going to identify the type of reaction, automatic single replacement talaga yan siya. Okay, single replacement. You have the element plus a compound. I hope you have seen the difference. This is an element plus an element. So this is combination. Now this one is decomposition because you only have one compound in the reactant. That's how you know the type of chemical equation. Now, exchange partners. Alin ba yung mas depende doon sa inyong activity series of metal? Alin ba yung mas reactive? Potassium or magnesium? Metals ha, metals yung papalitan natin, hindi OH. Kasi activity series of metal man. So, look at your activity series of metal. Kung doon na sa lithium, syempre after ni lithium ay potassium. Meaning yan, mas reactive talaga si potassium and thus this reaction is possible. Papalitan niya si magnesium class, thus this becomes KOH and then madi-display si magnesium. Pero before sabi ko, do not copy the subscript. Again, do not copy the subscript because the subscript is dependent sa charge ng element. Kagaya niyan, K and then OH. Sila naman dalawa yung magpa-partner ngayon. Na potassium is +1. OH is -1. +1 plus -1 is equal to 0. Therefore, you don't need to do crisscross here. And this is enough. We don't need to have a subscript for this. So, saan nyo ito kinuha? Ang subscript here for potassium hydroxide. Again, please do not copy the subscript na nasa reactant na side because the subscript is dependent in the charge of the elements in the formed compound. So, tama na ito. Magnesium does not require 2 also because it's not included in the diatomic molecules. Now, this is not balanced here. So, you have K, magnesium, and again, OH is a polyatomic ion, and I don't separate the oxygen and the hydrogen if I do the balancing because parehas lang naman sila, hindi naman sila naghiwalay in the product. So you have 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1. So OH, I'll write 2 here so that this becomes 2. But kasama niya kasi si potassium, so potassium becomes 2 also. And I'll need to place 2 here so that in the reactant na side, potassium will also become 2. So this is now the correct class answer for number 4. It's correct na single replacement siya, but the equation should be 2 molecules of potassium reacting with 1 molecule of magnesium hydroxide, yielding 2 molecules of potassium hydroxide plus 1 molecule of magnesium. Questions for number 4? Anyone na hindi na-confuse for number 4? Wala. So let us continue. Reporters, please continue with number 5. Pwede na mag-next.
Okay, for the next equation, we have C3H8, also known as propane. Madunggan na ba po, ma'am?
Choppy.
Okay. And oxygen, having a product of carbon dioxide, CO2, and water, which is H2O. So for this, we have a reaction of combustion because a substance, the propane, reacts with oxygen gas to form carbon dioxide and water. So to balance this equation, first we listed all the elements found in the equation. So we have the carbon, hydrogen, and the oxygen. So the carbon in the reactant side has a total of 3 atoms, while in the product side has only 1 atom. So in order for us to obtain 3 carbon atoms, we added 3 here as the coefficient for the carbon dioxide. Also, for the hydrogen in the reactant side, we have 8 atoms, while in the product side, we only have 2. So to make it 8, we added 4 as the coefficient for H2O. So next is the oxygen. Here in the reactant side, we only have two, while in the product side, we have um, three oxygen atoms. So in order for us to obtain, in order for it to be balanced, we added 5 as the coefficient for oxygen in the reactant side. So next for number 6, we have aluminum oxide, Al2O3, plus sodium chloride, having a product of aluminum chloride and sodium oxide. So in this equation, it is a double replacement reaction since two ionic compounds, the aluminum oxide and sodium chloride, exchange places to form two new compounds, which is the aluminum chloride and the sodium oxide. So to balance it, we again list all the elements found in the equation. We have the aluminum, oxygen, sodium, and chlorine. Aluminum in the reactant side has two atoms, while in the product side we only have one atom. So in order for us to obtain two atoms for aluminum, we added 2 as the coefficient for aluminum chloride in the product side. So next is for the oxygen. In the reactant side, we have 3 atoms, while in the product side, we only have 1. So again, we added 3 here as the coefficient for sodium oxide for us to obtain 3 oxygen atoms in the product side. Same as with the sodium and the chlorine, we added 6 in the sodium chloride to have so it to be balanced with the product side. So next for number 7, we have zinc sulfate reacting with hydrogen. So we answered it having no reaction because hydrogen, based on the activity series, has lower reactivity than zinc. Therefore, it cannot be replaced, leaving it with no reaction. Then next, we have, for number 8, we have ferric chloride reacting with sodium hydroxide to obtain the product of iron hydroxide and sodium chloride. The reaction here is double replacement since two ionic compounds exchange to form two new two new compounds, which is the iron hydroxide and the sodium chloride. So to balance the equation, we added 3 as the coefficient for sodium hydroxide and another 3 for the coefficient of sodium chloride. So that's it.
Okay? Ipadayon na lang hangtod 10 tas isahon ako og ano. Isahon ako i-explain. Balikan lang natin na unya.
Hello po, marinig po ako, ma'am.
Hello, Leia.
Sorry, ma'am, nalisten ako kay naka-share screen. Manggod ko, ma'am. Sorry po.
Okay lang. Wala na ang share screen. I-share screen lang ulit.
Yes po. So, good morning, everyone. So, for number 9, nihonium sulfate. Our reactant side is nihonium sulfate plus sodium hydrogen carbonate, and our product side is in NH4 HCO3 plus Na2CO4. So our reaction here is double replacement because the reactant ions swap location in order to generate new products. So to balance this equation, we need to write the elements here. So NH, our reactant side for NH4 is 1, and for the product side is also 1. So okay na yung ano natin, yung equation natin. So no need na siya ilagyan ng ano po, ng coefficient. So next is SO4. So dito po sa reactant side po is we have the name 4, and dito rin po sa product side is we have, wait lang. Sa product side is we have ano also 4. So in order to balance this equation, wala na po tayo nilagay na coefficient, ma'am. And dito po sa Na, sa reactant side po niya is 1 po, and dito po sa product side is also 1. In order to balance this equation, we put 2 coefficients here in reactant side para mabalance po dito sa product side. And here po sa HCO3, dito po sa reactant side is 1, and dito po sa product side is also 3. So in order to balance the equation, in order to balance this element, we put 2 here in reactant side para mabalance po siya. And dito po sa number 10, AgNO3 plus AlF3, and dito po sa product po niya, yung product niya po is AgF plus AlNO3. So yung reaction niya po is double replacement. We put the element, sinulat po natin yung element nila. Then dito po sa reactant side, para mabalance po din dito sa product side is we put 3 dito sa silver, dito sa reactant side niya para mabalance po dito sa product side. And dito po sa NO3, nilagyan rin po na okay na po yung reactant side and also dito po sa product side. So no need na po nalagyan ng coefficient. So sa Al, no need na rin po lagyan ng coefficient kasi balance na rin po siya. And dito po sa F, dito sa reactant side, hindi po natin nilagyan ng coefficient, pero dito po sa product side, nilagyan natin ng coefficient na 3 para mabalance po yung mabalance po natin yung element. Yan lang po, ma'am.
Okay. Kindly go back to numbers 5 na slide, number 5 to number 8 na slide ata yun.
Yes po, ma'am.
Kasi let us check. I can open now the grades class. I will give you the grades after the report. Ayan, balik sa previous slide. Let us check first before ta mag-istorya o grado. Okay, number 5. Let me write on the screen. Please listen. We have here the combustion reaction. This is correct. Now, how do you know that the equation is a combustion reaction? Class, your hint is first, the other product is always oxygen. And then, the other product is most of the time carbon-containing. Again, carbon-containing reacting with oxygen. Kasi yun naman mostly yung sinusunog natin, class, sa combustion reaction, the carbon-containing na mga compound. So in this case, we have the so-called pentane, propane, C3H8 plus oxygen. And then, kapag na-identify nyo siya na combustion reaction siya, always yan siya. Wala na siyang ibang products. Para dili mo maglisod o isip unsay products ani. Always talaga yan siya class. Carbon dioxide and water. So wala masyadong problema with the combustion kasi automatic. Carbon dioxide and water. And then ang gagawin nyo na lang is to balance the equation. Again, ang gagawin nyo na lang is magbabalance kayo ng equation. So we have here C3H8O and then 10. Ang gagawin nyo lang, supposedly this is 2 originally. And then on the other side, you have 1 carbon, 2 hydrogen, and 3 oxygen. So let's see if na-balance nila. Nilagyan ng 3 dito. So yes, this becomes 3 now. And for the oxygen, 3 times 2. Nag-multiply tayo ha, coefficient times subscript. So that is 6. Pero may 1 ka here. So this is 7. And then, pwede mo nang i-balance yung hydrogen. Para maging 8 siya, lagyan mo ng 4 dyan. So this is correct here. And then, we have, what is this? Nadagdagan si oxygen. So 3 times 2 is 6, 4 times 1 is 4. So this is 10 all in all. 10 divided by 2 here is 5. So yes, magiging 10 din ito dito. So this one is a balanced equation. Question sa number 5. Okay, wait lang ha. Wait lang talaga. Okay, number 6. Wala question sa number Number 5. I hope tama yung answer din ha. So number 6, this is correct. Double replacement or double displacement. Ano na siya ha? Kanang parehas lang na sila. And gina-allow na siya, gina-consider na sila both kung inyong answer double displacement or double replacement. This time, how will you know na double displacement reaction siya? If you have compound plus a compound. Okay, again, compound plus compound. Gaina sa single replacement, element plus compound. This time, compound plus compound. And then, pag sinabing double displacement, exchange partner. So, in your case, the given is aluminum oxide plus NaCl. This time, sa double displacement, wala tayo labot class sa activity series of metal. Again, we don't use the activity series of metal here. Diretso na ni sila class na exchange partners. Now, in exchanging the partners class of the compounds, kailangan class na positive and negative ang always mag-partner. So you have to make sure na ma-identify nyo sa first compound alin ang positive dyan. Like this one. Aluminum is positive 3, oxygen is negative 2, sodium is positive 1. Look at your periodic tables. Chlorine is negative 1. So pag mag-exchange partners yan sila, aluminum now ay magpa-partner kay chlorine, and then si sodium naman yung magpa-partner kay oxygen. That's how you do it ha. Kailangan positive sa first na compound, mag-partner kay negative sa second na compound. Pero sa pagsulat ng products class, pwedeng mauna si aluminum chloride, pwede ding mauna si sodium oxide. It doesn't matter. Parehas lang naman yon. Now, ganito muna ang gagawin ninyo. Ipagtabi muna ninyo ang inyong mga symbols before natin siya ayusin kung kailangan ba talaga ng, anong tawag dyan, subscript or hindi. So the subscript will be determined sa charges. Kung nakita nyo, hindi ko kinopya yung 2 ni aluminum, hindi ko din kinopya yung 3 ni oxygen. Kasi again, nakadepende yan sa charges nila. Aluminum is positive 3, chlorine is negative 1. So we have to do the crisscross, which means that the correct formula for aluminum chloride is Al Cl3. So, hindi sila magkapareho doon sa kabilang side, sa reactant na side. Okay? And then, NaO, tingnan natin kung kailangan ba siya ng subscript. Sodium is +1, oxygen is -2. So in here, we need to do the crisscross also. So 2 will be placed here sa sodium, 1 for oxygen, pero no need to write 1. So the correct chemical formula for a sodium oxide is Na2O. Na2O. So tama na yung mga mga chemical formula. Ang kailangan na lang ay i-balance siya. So let us see kung balance ba itong ginawa nila. They placed 6 here. So Na becomes 6 on the other side. Oh, wait lang. And so ganun itong mga elements diri. Al, O, Na, Cl. Let us see. The original is 1. Wait lang. Atuan na lang siyang isa-isahon para dili ta maglibog. Aluminum on the other side. This is 1. Na is 2. Cl is 3. Okay? So, si Na ay ginawang 6. So, kailangan 6 din siya sa kabila. So, nilagyan ng 3. So, this becomes 6. But kasama ni Na si Cl, so this becomes 6 also. Sa kabila, kasama ni sodium si oxygen, so this becomes 3. So the oxygen is already balanced. Si sodium is already balanced also. All we need to do is balance the chlorine. The chlorine is 6 on the other side. Let's place 2 here. So 2 times 3 is 6. So this is already balanced. And since kasama niya si aluminum, this becomes 2. So yes, balanced na. So this one is also correct. Aluminum, 1 molecule of aluminum oxide reacting with 6 molecules of sodium chloride, and then this will yield 2 molecules of aluminum chloride plus 3 molecules of sodium oxide. So that's how you do, class, the double displacement or double replacement reaction. So how about number 7? Or do you have questions on number 6? Walay questions on number 6? You're free to ask ha if na-confuse kayo. Zinc, this is a compound plus an element. Anong sabi ko? Pag compound plus element, single replacement. Pag na-identify niyo siya na single replacement, ang next step, look at the activity series of metal. So alin ba yung mass reactive? Si zinc or si hydrogen? So let's look at the activity series of metal kung talaga bang no reaction ang answer dyan. Okay. Sige, nasa taas si zinc. So this is more reactive. This is less reactive. So ang ipapalit ay less reactive, which means yes, this is correct. No reaction. Again, pag less reactive ang ipapalit, class, always yan siya. No reaction. Magiging possible lang kung ang ipapalit mo na element ay more reactive than the original one. So yes, this is correct. No reaction. Now for number 8, this is a compound and sodium hydroxide is also a compound. So yes, this is correct. Double replacement or double displacement. So exchange partners ka dyan. FeCl3 plus NaOH. So paano ka mag-exchange partners? You have to determine first the positive and the negative ions on both compounds. So Fe here is +3. Take note, it should be +3. Ion can be +2 or +3, but how do we know na +3 siya? Kasi may 3 ka dito na subscript. Pag ni-reverse mo yan, meaning 3 is coming from iron. So positive 3, this is negative 1 here. Sodium is positive 1 and hydroxide is negative 1. So if mag-exchange sila ng partners, Fe will now partner with the OH kasi positive and negative, plus sodium will now partner with Cl. So that's the first thing to do before ka maglagay ng subscript. So again, the subscript is dependent sa charges. Like this one, Fe and OH. Dito sa original class, Fe is positive 3. So hindi yan siya nagbabago on the product na side. Okay, so positive 3 pa rin yan siya and this is negative 1. This is not equal to 0, so we have to do the crisscross. So this becomes now Fe, and then since this is a polyatomic ion, ilagay mo siya inside an open and close parenthesis before mo ilagay ang subscript. So yes, this is correct here. And then NaCl, Na is positive 1, Cl is negative 1. This is equal to 0. So this is already the correct chemical formula of sodium chloride. So let's see if tama itong na-balance nila. 3Na. Okay. 3Na on the other side. Magiging 3COH. And since may subscript na COH daan, so this is also correct. Si Cl naman, naging 3 yan siya dyan, kasama kasi sila ni Na. So this is 3 here, and then may subscript siyang 3 sa kabila. So this is also 3. Fe, isa-isa lang. So yes, this is correct. This is a balanced equation for the ferric chloride plus 3 sodium hydroxide equals ferric hydroxide plus 3 molecules of sodium chloride. Okay, double displacement. Pwede mag-next, next reporter, next slide for numbers 9 and 10. Let us see if you also have the correct answer here. The given is a compound plus a compound. So yes, compound plus compound. So this is correct. Double replacement or double displacement. Tapos mag-exchange partner sila class. This is ammonium sulfate plus sodium carbonate. Pag mag-exchange partners, you identify the positive and the negative charge para kabalo kag kinsay magpartner. Ammonium is positive 1, sulfate is negative 2, sodium is always positive 1, and HCO3, the bicarbonate ion, is negative 1. So pag mag-exchange partners, ammonium now will partner with the bicarbonate, plus si sodium will now partner with the sulfate. Before ka mag-balance, check mo muna kung kailangan ba ng subscript dyan. So, NH4, HCO3, NH4 is positive 1, bicarbonate is negative 1. This is equal to 0. So, this is already correct. No need for additional na subscript. And then for NaSO4, sodium is positive 1, sulfate is, negative 2. So we need to do crisscross, which means sodium should have 2 here as the subscript. So your chemical formulas are already correct. That's the time that you need to balance the equation. So let us see if na-balance nila ang equation. NH4, this should be 2 here, right? This should be 2. Kaya 2 man na siya di sa pikas. Yan, nagbutang mong 2 diri sa pikas. So, nahimo na po na siya 2. Nakauban man na niya si bicarbonate. So, yes, this is 2 here. And, naglagay kayo ng 2 dito, which means naging 2 si sodium. And then, kasama niya si bicarb. So, yes, this is 2 also. So, balance na yan siya dyan. The sulfate, what happened here? Okay, sulfate. Ano nangyari kay sulfate? This should be 1. Murag nagbaliktad man natin ni yung ammonium mo yung sulfate. Isang sulfate lang yan siya dyan. Wala naman siyang subscript. Hindi siya nakalagay in an open and closed parenthesis. So 1. Dito wala ka ding nilagay na subscript. Wala ding coefficient. So sulfate is counted as 1. But nevertheless, this is already balanced. Okay? Questions for number 9? Anyone? Wala. So, let's move on sa number 10. Number 10 is, yes, this is also correct. Double replacement or double displacement because this is a compound and then a compound gihapon na isa. So, AgNO3, that's silver nitrate plus aluminum fluoride yielding exchange partners. Silver is positive 1, nitrate is negative 1, aluminum is positive 3, fluoride is negative 1. So pag mag-exchange sila partners, AgF now, Ag and F, and then una talaga isulat ang positive plus ha, so Al and NO3. Tapos ang next step, check whether you need a subscript or not. Silver is positive 1, fluorine is negative 1. So this is equal to 0. No need to do the crisscross. Walang subscript. But for AlNO3, Al is positive 3, nitrate is negative 1. So yes, kailangan natin mag-crisscross. So this becomes now Al, and then since this is a polyatomic ion, ilagay mo siya inside the parenthesis before ang subscript. So this becomes now, sorry. Ilang how dito na ko sulat. This becomes now AlNO3, 3. And since this is not a balanced equation, if you balance this, you have your Ag. And take note, hindi ko siniseparate si polyatomic ion. Bakit? Kasi ang nitrate dyan, nitrate pa rin naman sa kabila. NO3 pa rin naman siya. So you have 1 Ag, 1 NO3. This is counted as 1 here. Pag wala siyang subscript, hindi siya nakalagay inside an open and closed parenthesis. 1 Al and 3 F. And then on the other side, 1 Ag, 1 fluorine, 1 aluminum, but 3 nitrate. So I can actually start with the nitrate. So I'll place 3 here so that nitrate becomes 3. So this is balanced already. But silver becomes 3 also. So I would like to place 3 here so that silver becomes 3. So this is now balanced. Kasama niya si fluorine. So fluorine becomes 3 also. So fluorine has been balanced. Aluminum is already balanced. So yes, this is also the correct answer for number 10. Questions? Sino dito yung nahihirapan pa rin mag-predict and mag-balance? Anyone? Wala na ba? So let us continue. Reporters, please continue with the questions.
Marinig po ako, ma'am.
Yes, Leia.
Yes po. Wait lang po. Ito. So number 1 for guide questions. What is activity series of metals? So the activity series of metals is a form of element ordering system that ranks the responsiveness of a given element in respect to other components. The reactivity of an element is determined by how efficiently it can displace hydrogen gas from acidic solutions and water in the activity series. So activity series is a type of ordering system for elements which ranks how reactive a certain element is in relation to other elements. So number 2, list down the arrangement of metals as stated in the activity series of metals. This is from highest to lowest. As you can see here in our picture, the highest reactivity is potassium, while the lowest reactivity or unreactive is platinum. Wait. So metals like potassium with a higher reactivity have higher tendency to lose electrons and produce positive ions, while platinum does not lose electron easily. Yan lang po, ma'am.
Okay. That's it. Questions? Again, activity series of metal is a list of how reactive a metal is. Nakalista sila from the most reactive going down to the least reactive. And kailan natin sila gagamitin? During the single replacement reaction. Okay? Questions? Clarifications? Wala na ba?